Hi there, Jeremy. Thank you so much for agreeing to share your awesome success story, which really is stunning. And you said to me that you've managed to get a fee of £19,000, give or take a bit, for doing essentially a strategic planning day and a
Yeah.
little bit of support off the back of that, which is incredible. So well done. Before you tell me how you did that, just by way of background, could you just say a bit about you and the firm?
Okay, well, Jeremy Harbinson. My firm is Harbinson Holland. We're nine partners and a team of about 50 based in Belfast, Northern Ireland. We've been going for about 16 years. So about a bit over half our firm is doing people's accounts, tax, compliance work, all of that. And about another third of it is doing forensic accounting and then some corporate reconstruction on top of that. And the rest of it is various parts of consulting. And I myself do various bits of strategic planning with clients, trying to be a problem solver and that sort of thing. So that's a little bit about the firm ourselves. And as you know, we started working with you just a few months ago with a workshop, and all our partner and manager team have been studying your materials and trying to change the pricing strategies that we've been using.
And yeah, and it's obviously going really well because I can see, Jeremy, that you're in your nice new shiny offices.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, yes. Well, it we moved here about 4 weeks ago, and I look around and I look out over Belfast. We're on the seventh floor, and lovely new offices, giving everybody a real spring in their step. It's great.
Fantastic. Uh, and yeah, as you said, we've been working together for a couple of months, and I came across to Belfast. I think it was about 5 or 6 weeks ago when we ran a
Yeah.
workshop together. Thinking back before that, what was your approach to pricing generally as a firm, and how has that kind of changed and evolved?
Well, our firm pricing strategy was very traditional, similar, I think, to many other firms. Basically, we all had charge rates, and we worked out the amount of time we spent, and then that was basically the basis on which we billed clients. We were asked from time to time for fee quotes, and we would give those, but again, it was based very much on working out how long we thought it would take, at what grade of staff, and taking it from there.
Right, fascinating, and which is what many firms do. And but you've taken a different approach now, and let's look specifically just to kind of by way of example, use this particular case where you've done some strategic planning, and as I mentioned earlier, you've got an incredible fee. But talk about firstly. Before this particular case, how would you have normally have priced a strategic away day, strategic planning, and what did you do different in this case?
Well, I have been doing strategic planning for many years, and I've got a systematic approach that I take to how I take people through the strategy day. And they end up with clear goals and action plans all boiled down, and usually the team goes away with a spring in their step. But generally, I was just trying for different prices, and I didn't do very many during the recessionary period. But over the last 6 months, things have been picking up, and more people have been interested in it. So I did one about 6 months ago for £2,000 for a day, and arising out of that, I at the end of the day, I said, look, to really help you implement this, you need to have some form of ongoing coaching and mentoring. And so I gave them a price for doing ongoing monthly meetings. But I found from that they needed more than that. I then had another client came along, and I thought I'd try a slightly higher price. And again, at the end of the day, I suggested that they went with bi-weekly monitoring and coaching, and they went for that. But they came back later on and said, look, we really want to roll something out to our staff as well, so could you give us some more of that? Well, I'd done a few other strategy days on that sort of basis, but then I did your pricing workshop. And so I got another call from a prospective client who told me they had heard that I did help with strategy, and they were looking for all of that. And so I set up the meeting, which was with a three-partner firm, and I gave just a little bit of thought to it in advance, going through all your materials and what I would do. And I knew that for people really to get the benefit, there's one great statistic I've heard that 2/3 of businesses have no strategy, and of the 1/3 that have a strategy, 2/3 can't implement it. And so I know that if people will stick with me and follow the whole system through, they get pretty good benefits, and we can add tremendous amounts of value. But I thought it would be very helpful to use your approach to just set out for people what, different options of service levels would be. And so I created what was effectively a pricing menu. And what I did was on the day, I met with the clients, and I talked to them just a little bit so they could tell me about their business and some of the issues they were facing. I then talked to them about 20 minutes, just illustrating some of the approaches I use and some of the things which I think are innovative about it. So as we got a bit of rapport going. And then I had printed out on an A3 sheet a number of testimonies I have from other clients who've done the strategy day, which basically, I suppose, just say nice things about the effects they got from strategy. But I just sort of set that in front of them and continued to talk about various things. And I just introduced it by saying, I've done quite a bit of this, and here are examples of some of the clients who have been happy. And then I started to talk in more detail about what the different options we could do for them. So I set at this stage, again printed out in an A3 sheet, I just set on the table my menu of prices. And I explained to them that there were various options, and I got a column which set out how you could buy these things separately. So for example, on that I showed that a strategic away day for the business owners was £3,500. And I explained that you could buy that separately, but that really to get all the benefits, people, in my experience, they needed other things. So I then showed them a 3-star one, which included my preparation for the day, doing the strategic away day, and then a completion of one-day plan, which is basically that one-day thing. But it also then built in monthly mentoring of the business leader for a 1-year period. And I showed that that had a price of £590. And I then showed a 4-star column which had all of that, but it enabled them to opt for the bi-weekly mentoring and coaching. And I priced that at £1,020 a month. And then I had a 5-star option, which included all those things, but it also gave quarterly follow-up meetings with all the business owners to review the strategy and set our goals for the next quarter, which I'd had a request for and I'd done with some other clients. And I built in the one-day, half-day strategy meeting for the whole team so they could get that. And then I also built in some stuff around personal wealth strategy that the people could get, because after all, the business is only supposed to be a vehicle for the owners themselves. So that 5-star one I priced at £1,590. So I had set all that out, and it has got all your usual ticks on the various options. So I set that in front of them, and I didn't say much about it, and I just talked around what a strategy day would look like and what the ongoing mentoring would look like. And it gave them a chance to look at the prices, and it showed them, for example, that the bi-weekly monitoring of business leader, that's a price of $11,500 if you buy it separately. And so there are various things which use the contrast principle. Also, I built in at the bottom of it, I just said our promise to you, and I built in a guarantee, which I just copied from one of your workbooks. And so I'm new to all this kind of stuff, and it was the first time I'd really tried the full menu stuff, but I put it together as best I could, and I know from talking to you I could have done it better. But it had the desired effect, because the client, they all got quite excited about it, and they could see exactly what they were getting and what they needed to do. And I explained that it was a 1-year trip, and basically they were giving strong buying signals that they would go for the 5-star service. And they asked just if they could go away and talk about it between the three of them, and I said, yeah, fine. And they came back 2 days later and said, yes, we want to go with the 5-star service. Show us how to set up the direct debit. So since then, we've done the strategy day, and we've got a bit of coaching in place, and I'm just enjoying delivering it, and we don't have to worry too much about coming back and thinking about prices.
Right. Awesome. I mean, there are so many things about what you've done that I love, and for example, I really like your idea of printing out I think having the testimonials is awesome, and printing the whole thing out on A3 on super large pieces of paper, because I know that has more impact, so I thought that was really, really clever doing that. And I love the way.
It's also helpful to me because now that I'm over 30, my eyesight is not what it used to be. The bigger print kind of helps.
It sure does, yeah, yes. And I love the packages that you've created. I think that they are. I mean, it's it's genius. It's clever the way that you've obviously done it so the entry level package is kind of what they asked for, that if you're almost the minimum, but the in the top level you've built in, if you like, a Rolls-Royce service, and in this particular case that's exactly what the client's gone from, and that works out at, like, I think it was 1,590 a month, I think you said.
1,590, and
yeah.
I think that I haven't checked it recently, but I think that comes to more than £19,000 when you multiply it by 12. And I did a few other things, just from your stuff. When I gave to buy separately, it all has the commas in it. When you buy it as a monthly package, it doesn't. But it just helps people to get to what I think was the right solution for them. And I know they will get the benefit of it. And because I was able to show the prices to buy separately, there kind of was the option to buy the things separately, but I packaged them together to give what I thought was a good deal. And I did think quite a bit. I thought instead of just pricing it in terms of the number of hours that I thought it would take, I did that as a kind of check to make sure that it worked for me. But also I thought about it more in terms of what I thought might be attractive for them. And thinking about it in terms of, my 4-star option is not halfway between the 3 and the 5-star option. So it makes it possibly more tempting to upgrade. Yep. So those are the things I'd kind of learned from you, and it could be, and I've no doubt it can be improved. And in one of our mentoring calls, you were kind enough to make various ideas on how it can be made better, which we'll do in future. But I was delighted with the results.
Yeah, it's a stunning result. I'm really, really, I'm amazed, gobsmacked. Such a great result. And yeah, you're right. We can always improve things, because we'll never get the right price. It's a case of constantly testing and pushing the boundaries. But you've clearly been doing that and getting incredible results. So I suppose my final question, Jeremy, is thinking about all the things that you've done and this particular situation. If you were to share what you think is perhaps your top 1, 2, or 3 tips about pricing, what you've learned, the 2 or 3 things that make the biggest impact, what would be those top tips?
Well, I think the first thing that really struck me is that it should be a win-win, because this is something where when you set the prices out and the people have the choice and they choose them in advance, not only is it good for us, the accountants, but actually it's great for the clients, because they get to choose what they want to do. They get the chance to get over that sort of buyer's remorse and all those sorts of things. So I think it is definitely a win-win. I expect that the clients will have higher satisfaction and refer more people to me using this sort of system than they would from the old we'll send you a bill for whatever it costs after the event type approach. I think it does take a bit of preparation to think out in advance what your menu and how you describe the services, but that's a great investment of time. And I'm very pleased at the idea that I could lay it all out on one sheet of paper in front of the client. The other thing was that in previous times when I've met with people to try and, if you like, sell this sort of service, I probably would have spent about 2 hours with them, and at the end of that, they probably would have gone ahead with a strategy day. Though the way that was priced, I'm probably getting more for it now than I used to. But this whole process, this time, instead of taking 2 hours and then more time each time I wanted to sell coaching and the other parts, the whole thing took 1 hour and 5 minutes. So that was very pleasing as well.
Yeah, you've clearly got a very, very good sales process. So well done there. That's awesome. So I think we're kind of running out of time, but
Yeah.
thank you so much for sharing that. There's something there was just so many great learning points and a great story. So thank you so much, Jeremy.
Thank you for the opportunity to share it, Mark.
You're welcome, and we'll speak soon. Bye for now.
Okay. Thanks, now. Bye.